The coronavirus pandemic allowed me to become overwhelmed by anxiety. I struggled to leave the house. I had to rely on friends and family and a partner a lot more than normal. It was a weird time. It was a difficult time, and it led me to try new things that I've never had to try before in normal life. And one of those things was self-help. So I started off with podcasts. One in particular one was the Owning It podcast by Caroline Ferran. The first episode is just an account of her life and her struggles with anxiety, and it's really nice because it drew a lot of similarities for me, a lot of things that I see in myself that she kind of pointed out in her struggle. So after I'd listened to her, I went and ordered her book, Owning It, Your Bullshit-Free Guide to Living with Anxiety. And here it is. I've read this book cover to cover in a few days after I got it. It's a great book. It does exactly what it says on the tin. And at the end of each chapter, there's exercises that really help you to deal with what you're going through, what it's on about in the book, and what you're probably experiencing as you read it. One exercise in particular that stood out to me was called Determining Your Core Values. The idea behind this exercise is to get a ranked list of your core values so that you can assess them and understand their impact on your well-being. See, I think that core values act as the foundations for your whole life. If they're strong and stable, meaning that you're happy with them and you can function really well with them, then they're going to support you throughout your life. You can live a bigger, fuller, richer life. However, if you're not happy with them, then you end up with a weak, unstable foundations that limit you to a small and poor and unfulfilling life. And if you try to live your best life on these foundations, as soon as your mental health turns, you can easily come crashing down. That's what happened to me at the start of this pandemic. So how do you determine your core values? Well, Caroline Ferran gives us a handy list of them in this book. She suggests going through this list and picking out your top 10 values. Once you've done this, take your list and compare the first two values against each other. The one which you determine to be most important to you, write that one below and start a new list. Whichever one you didn't pick, compare that one with the next one on your list. Then whichever of those you find most important, add next in your new list. Continue this until you've gotten through the list, then take your new list and do it again, comparing the words with their new neighbours. This will create a new list in a new order. Continue making lists this way until you come out with the same list twice. This is then the definitive order of your core values. So here's my list. Pretty sad. 7 out of my top 10 core values rely on what other people think about me. My personality is built on a desire to be liked. Values like popularity and fame ranked higher than achievement and growth. And what I realised next really threw me. Values like love, peace and fun didn't even make my list. This was and is pretty hard to accept. So now we have this list, what next? What does Ferran suggest we do? Well, Ferran asks us some questions. Number 1. Do the values make you feel good about yourself? And number 2. Are you proud of your top 3 values? Well, in answer to question number 1, no, these don't make me feel good about myself. They leave me feeling sad and disappointed. My foundations as a person are weak. And question 2, well, 2 out of 3. Number 1 and 2 in my list are happiness and inner peace. They're good. But number 3 is popularity. That's bad. These, like most of the rest of the list, are needy. And if these are my core values, it doesn't give me much chance of achieving happiness or inner peace. Unfortunately, I think this must have been a positive outcome for Ferran when she was writing this book, because she doesn't really tell you what to do next if the answers to those 2 questions aren't good. But I think I've got an idea. What I've got at the minute are weak core values that I can't build a personality on, and so every time I try, my entire life comes crashing down. So what I've got to figure out is how to replace them with things that are better and healthier, so that I can build on them easier. They're stronger foundations. I've not figured it out quite yet, but I'll let you know if I do.